Hello, it's Kathy here from Chilled Mama. I've just popped on live to talk about my pregnancy relaxation and antenatal course, Birth Dreaming. One of the wonderful things about the Birth Dreaming course is that you can come and chill out and relax, have some really deep relaxation and shrug off all the week's stresses and worries, and at the same time prepare yourself in mind and body for giving birth while you're daydreaming. And so I thought I'd pop and talk about, is this possible? Is it really possible to prepare while you're daydreaming? So one of the ways that we going to do that, and the answer is yes, because giving birth is controlled by the subconscious part of our mind. So it's controlled by the bit down here that is the most primitive part of our brain. Giving birth is an involuntary bodily function. Just the same as being sick or going to the toilet. And obviously I don't want to make you think that I think that giving birth to your baby is like going to the toilet, but the sensations can be very similar and the conditions are very similar. So in order to give birth, you need to open some sphincters, some sphincter muscles. They're the tight rings of muscles. They need to open so that you can release the baby. Now, in evolutionary terms, our bodies is great because it will only do this if we are feeling safe. And this is the same for all mammals. So any mammal that is out in the wild or even in captivity will only give birth if they're feeling safe. Which makes sense. If you're in labour, you're a giraffe or a zebra in labour, and along comes a lion, you would need to stop labour. So the body pumps adrenaline in, labour stops, and you go off and fight till you find somewhere safe. Now, obviously, we aren't under threat of lions, but in evolutionary terms, our mind still thinks that we are under threat, and all sorts of things can trigger the fight or flight response in labour, which can stop or slow labour down. Such as, you probably got a friend who will tell you they were labouring really well at home, but as soon as they got to hospital, the contractions slowed right down. And what's happened there is the adrenaline has been released, and the contractions have slowed down, so that because the body doesn't think it's a safe place to give birth, or safe situation to give birth. Once you're in the room and you've got your things all around you and you start relaxing more, then the adrenaline drops down, the oxytocin then can go back up, and your contractions start increasing. And so the only time that doesn't happen is towards a very late part of labour, when the adrenaline can actually cause labour to speed up. And that's if you were a lion, if you were a zebra and a lion was coming and you were just really close to giving birth, speeding the labour up, getting the baby out so you can then get you and the baby to safety is quite important. And you do hear it sometimes when people say, or the doctor, when they talk about their baby's birth, or the doctor said that they're going to give me half an hour, and then otherwise it's going to a cesarean. And all of a sudden I was pushing really hard, and that's what's happening there. So but if you can relax and you can then bring down your fight or flight response, so being prepared and being good at relaxing reduces your fight or flight response and keeps you in a relaxed state. And staying in a relaxed state keeps your adrenaline low and your oxytocin high. So the more practice relaxing you can do, the more oxytocin you will flow in labour. And I seem to think something was in my mind then. So, and often relaxation takes a bit of practice. The more you can practice, the easier it will be to do on the day, and the more easier it will be to do in situations that potentially your brain is telling you is a bit threatening. Now, that's how hypnobirthing works, and you practice these things and you create these triggers in your mind that help you then to relax more. And a lot of the stuff I'm doing in the birth dreaming is very similar to hypnobirthing, really. And actually in labour, you want to, I remember what it was now. So in labour, you need to switch off this part of the brain. So thinking logically and trying to force labour to keep going, so that you think, oh yes, now I remember, I need to keep walking and I need to do this, and you're making logical decisions means you're involving this part of the brain. But birth isn't controlled by this part of the brain, it's controlled by that little part of the brain down there. So the more you can relax and switch this brain off and just let this part of the brain take over. And that's what they call going into labour land. Women will talk about, they weren't really aware of what the time was, or people talking to me and I couldn't work out what they were saying. And that's because language is in this part of the brain, time is in this part of the brain, but labour is controlled by this part of the brain. So as this part of the brain takes over, you lose track of time and you become non-verbal as well, unable to speak. And that's actually really good. So the more you practice relaxation, the easier you'll find it to relax on the day, the more you'll be able to allow this part of the brain to take over and this part of the brain to take a back seat. And that's really what birth dreaming is all about. There's a second part to how you can prepare your body and mind for birth while daydreaming, and that's where visualizations come in. Now, visualizations really are guided daydreams. So I talk you through a daydream. I build in lots of the senses, what you can see, to make it as realistic to your brain as possible. And it actually creates neuron connections in your brain that are quite astounding. So visualizations, it starts with relaxing you, and then you're building a story. And it's so powerful that all the top athletes use them. And lots of top business people too. There are 3 types of visualization. The first one is just a relaxing visualization. So you imagine you're in a relaxing place, like being on the beach. That's what we do on week 1 of birth dreaming. We have this lovely visualization about relaxing on a beach. But adding in a visualization, building the imagery in your mind of what you can see, what you can smell, what you can hear, what you can touch, what you can taste, and then building in the attributes and the feelings that you want to have. It deepens that sense of relaxation and makes those neural connections, so that whenever you think about that beach, you start feeling more and more relaxed just by thinking about it, because you've been practicing it. The second type of visualization is what's called a metaphor visualization, and that's where you imagine something like, so for labour you might imagine that you're on a boat, and that's week 2, I think, it's either 2 or 3, you're in a boat and you're on a sea, and just very gently the waves start pushing the boat and rocking the boat, and then gradually those waves get higher and higher, and all the time you're remaining calm, you're remaining confident, and you know that these waves are going to take you to meet your baby who's waiting for you on the shore. And then eventually the waves get so high, they lift the boat right up high and then gently back down again. And so this is getting your mind ready for the wave-like sensations of contractions or surges. I actually like to call them like waves of power, because that's what they feel like. There's a lot, and we talk about giving birth, and a lot of the information that's given to women about giving birth is what birth actually is like from the outside, from the observer's point of view. But from giving birth, it is like a wave of power that rises through you. And it can be quite scary because it takes over your body. So being able to practice relaxing and feeling and get these waves. The other, and all the time with the visualization, you're building in the feelings and the thoughts that you want to have. So feeling confident, feeling relaxed. You also do one with you that is about a hill walk. So you start off on a gentle slope, and by the time you end, it's a lot steeper and a lot harder. And that again is like a metaphor for labour and birth. The third type of visualization is a goal-orientated visualization, and we do this one on week 4, and that's imagining holding a baby and thinking back about the birth and how well it went. Now, it's very interesting. You listen to sports people, and I particularly remember, I'm showing my age here, but Jonathan Edwards was a triple jumper, and I heard an interview with him, and he used a goal-orientated visualization. He visualized himself on the winner's podium receiving the medals, and it worked for him. He won Olympic gold, and still has the current world record for triple jump. I remember listening to an interview with an American sprinter who said his mental preparation was to imagine himself as a cheetah on the starting blocks, ready to pounce, and thinking about what his muscles felt like and the power that he had inside him. And he was also a gold medal winner. So visualizations, I started using visualizations preparing for the birth of my first child, because I knew about the research, because I'd studied them for my psychology degree. And there is a classic a research study that was done in Canada with basketball players, and basketball players who did visualization about shooting the basketball hoop did as well as those who practiced, improved as much. So visualization can be really powerful, and I really found that with my second baby, I visualized myself in a rainforest, and my legs were like the tree trunks, and the water of life flowed between my legs, and the flowers came out. But you can laugh about it because it seems really daft, but it works. And it wasn't until years later I realized I'd actually given birth in exactly the position that I had visualized. But it works if you practice it. So when you come on my birth dreaming course, you will get MP3s of all the visualizations, and use the one that you feel suits you best. I'll also give you an extra MP3 visualization that's all about preparing for a cesarean. So if you do find that you are planning a cesarean, or end up looking like you need a cesarean, then you can do, and it's an Egyptian goddess visualization. So it's all about helping you be calm in preparation for the cesarean. And so it's all thinking about you as being this Egyptian goddess, and that the doctors and the midwives who are going to bring your baby from your body are your servants. So it turns the power around, that it is your baby, and this is you've grown this baby, and it's a really important thing that you've done, and now you are doing a tremendous thing by submitting yourself to the knife for your baby, but the people doing it know that you're the goddess. So I hope that's giving you a bit of an idea about, and a bit more of an idea about birth dreaming and why it works. If you do find out more on my website, don't forget to enter the competition, which goes on till next Tuesday. All you have to do is like my page and like the competition post on my Facebook page, and it goes on till the competition runs till Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I will be posting some more live bits about the course, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about birth dreaming and how it can help if labour doesn't go straight forward. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. If you do send any comments to me, thanks very much. Bye.